morning everybody. I am Dr. Uday Kumar Khan. Today I am going to give a demonstration on the experiment to determine the magnetic susceptibility of a paramagnetic material by Queen's tube method. Before going into the details of the experiment, let me discuss what is paramagnetic susceptibility. Paramagnetic materials are the magnetic materials having unpaired electrons. These materials are having permanent atomic dipole moment, and these materials are weakly attracted by the external magnetic field. Therefore, usually in a paramagnetic material, the atomic magnetic dipoles are randomly oriented. Therefore, there is no neat magnetization. But when paramagnetic material is placed in an external magnetic field, all the atomic dipoles get aligned parallel to the external magnetic field, and thus a magnetization within the material originates, and the magnetization M is proportional to the external magnetic field H. This is a linear relation. When the magnetic field strength is not too high, then this relation holds good. When the magnetic field strength is not too high, then this magnetization M is proportional to H, and this M is equal to chi H. This chi is M upon H. This is called paramagnetic susceptibility. This chi for a paramagnet is greater than 0. So it's a positive quantity, and this is independent of the value of the magnetic field, and this is inversely proportional to the temperature of the sample. So in this experiment, we want to determine the value of this chi for ferric chloride, which is a paramagnetic material, and we will take a ferric chloride solution, aqueous solution. So we will dissolve the ferric chloride within water, and that will be used as a sample for our experiment. And the experimental arrangement is the following. We have two pole pieces, north pole, south pole of an electromagnet. A uniform magnetic field is produced between the two pole pieces, and we have a tube, a glass tube having two different diameters. So this part is a narrow tube, whereas this part is wider in diameter. We will have to make the solution of ferric chloride first, and then we have to pour the solution within this tube, and the narrow tube should be placed between the two pole pieces like this, and we have to switch on the current to the electromagnet. Usually what happens when an atomic dipole is placed within an external magnetic field, it tries to align parallel to the external magnetic field. That is because that gives rise to the minimum potential energy of the system. So in a paramagnetic material, all the atoms or the molecules which are magnetic dipoles, they try to get aligned parallel to the external magnetic field, because that way it gives rise to minimum potential energy of the system, and the system becomes more stable and it goes to the equilibrium. Therefore, the energy density of the system becomes U is equal to half mu minus mu A mod of magnetic field magnitude square. Though this chi is an electromagnetic phenomena and can be determined by the measurement of electric or magnetic parameters, here instead of that we are using a simple mechanical measurement of how the liquid within the tube rises up with the application of the magnetic field. That means when we send current into the electromagnet, the magnetic field generated between the pole pieces will give rise to a force that will push the liquid up by an amount h. On the other hand, in the other arm of the tube, which is wider in diameter, the liquid in that arm will go down by the same height h. Now, this force per unit volume acting on this liquid is equal to the change in the potential energy of the system, and that change is along the x direction. This is my x direction, and the magnetic field is along the z direction. Therefore, the force experienced by the ferric chloride liquid per unit volume is equal to F is equal to I du dx. As I said earlier, U is the energy density is equal to half mu minus mu A and field magnitudes square. This H is the applied magnetic field, mu is the permeability of the solution, and mu A is the permeability of the air. Therefore, this F becomes I du dx is equal to I cap d dx of this quantity. And this mu and mu A can be replaced with the relative permeability of the solution and the air respectively. Therefore, this equation becomes I cap half mu naught chi minus chi A h square dx, and this force is along x direction, so this is called f of x. So this entire quantity is the f of x, where this chi is the susceptibility of the liquid ferric chloride here, and this chi A is the susceptibility of the air replaced by the liquid. And if we consider when the liquid goes up by h, so this is my zero field position. If the liquid rises by a height h in the narrower tube within the magnetic field, then in this tube, which is away from this magnetic field, will come down. Therefore, in this tube, air will be replaced by the liquid, and here liquid will be replaced by the air. And if we consider capital A as the cross-sectional area of this tube, then the force acting on the liquid having height h is equal to Fx A into dx is equal to half mu naught chi minus chi A dx square dx A into dx. And in this way, the total force acting on the total liquid, so the force acting on the total liquid within the tube is equal to Ft, this equal to the integration over dx. That means integration over the full length of the tube. And this becomes half mu naught A chi minus chi A h square minus h naught square. Here this h is the field within this pole pieces. So here the magnetic field is h, and the h naught is the field here in this region. So the field H is the magnetic field value in this region, and H naught is the magnetic field value here. So we understand liquid will keep rising if we increase the magnetic field. Now what will happen? This liquid has some weight. So that weight acts in this direction, downward direction, and at the same time it has replaced some amount of air. It has replaced some amount of air here. So the buoyancy force I have to consider here, and the net force due to the weight of the liquid becomes A into H into rho minus rho A into G. So this is basically H rho G, and area I have to multiply, that is the cross-sectional area of the tube. So this force is due to the weight of the liquid minus the weight of the air. Here rho is the density of the ferric chloride solution and rho A is the density of air. Therefore, in equilibrium, this force should be equal to this hydrostatic pressure force. And this equation gives rise to chi minus chi A is equal to 2h rho minus rho A into G by h square minus h naught square. In this experiment, this h naught square, that means h naught, is negligibly small. This is away from these pole pieces, therefore this can be taken 0. Similarly, the air density can be neglected, this also can be taken 0, and this susceptibility of air can also be taken negligibly small. Therefore, we have the relation chi is equal to 2 rho hg upon h square. So this is my experimental working formula. So for my experiment, I am going to use this formula. So this g is the acceleration due to gravity, h is the rise of the liquid in the narrow tube, and rho is the density of my solution, and this h is the magnetic field value. So this experiment has two parts. In the first part, we have to get an idea how this electromagnet gives rise to magnetic field with the coil current. So first of all, I have to get a plot of magnetic coil current along I along x-axis and the corresponding magnetic field along the y-axis. And this magnetic field will be measured with the help of Gauss probe and Gauss meter. So we'll have a curve like this. We'll have a straight line curve that will give an idea of how the magnetic field is generated between the two pole pieces when the DC current I is sent into the coil windings. So once this field value is known, in the second part I have to make a solution of ferric chloride. So for that we will know what is the value of rho. So that calculation I will show you, and then I have to measure what is the value of H for each magnetic field value. So if I take a reading for small h value for various magnetic field values, then I can have a plot for h square along x-axis and small h along y-axis, and that will also give rise to this kind of straight line curve passing through the origin. So if we know the slope of this curve, then this h by h square can be obtained from the slope of the curve, and rho we know, g we know. Therefore we can find out, or we can determine, the susceptibility chi of ferric chloride at room temperature. Thus, so far I have explained the physics of paramagnetism, the working principle of the Queen's tube experiment, and the working formula for our experiment. Now let's do the experiment. So this is my electromagnet. These two coils are there, and DC current is sent from this DC power supply, and we can send current up to 5.5 ampere or so, and the pole pieces are here. Usually the connection is as follows. So positive current comes like this and goes back to the system power supply like this. Therefore this is my north pole, this is south pole. So the field direction here is like this, and the magnetic field strength can be adjusted by changing the position of the two pole pieces with the help of these two arrangement, sliding arrangement, and at the same time we can vary the DC current here. So varying current, varying position, varying separation between the two pole pieces, we can adjust the field strength, magnetic field strength needed for our experiment. And for the measurement of the magnetic field, we have a Gauss probe. This Gauss probe we have to insert between the two pole pieces, and there is one Gauss meter that has to be connected like this with this probe. So this is my Gauss meter, and this probe can be positioned with the help of this stand between the two pieces. So okay, and now we can place the. So I have positioned the gauge probe here, and the cable is connected with the gauge meter. So it is giving some value of magnetic field minus 0.40 kilogauss. When the current is 0 in the coil, it should give 0 field. So for that I have to do some 0 adjustment setting. So with this pot I am making it 0. So now I have 0 magnetic field between the two pole pieces, as there is 0 current in the electromagnet. Now if I increase the current to something like 0.5 ampere, then this gives magnetic field value between the two pole pieces 0.69. So I have to optimize the position of the gauge probe such that it gives the maximum value. So the maximum value I am getting is 0.69 kilogauss. So once this position is achieved, so I have adjusted the position of the gauge probe such that it gives the maximum reading. So for 0.5 ampere current in the coil, I am getting magnetic field value 0.69 kilogauss. Now if I change it to 1 ampere, then the field becomes 1.47 kilogauss. Like this, I have to increase the current to value 2 ampere, 3 ampere, 4 ampere, 5 ampere, and in each case I have to measure the magnetic field value with the help of gauge meter. And then I have to draw a graph putting current along the x-axis and the magnetic field value along the y-axis. So from that graph we will have an idea what is the magnetic field value corresponds to current in the coil. So this is the Queen's tube. As I discussed in the board, this is U-shaped tube. This is the narrow portion having narrow diameter, and this is the wider part having greater diameter, and it is graduated. So the ferrichloride solution prepared should be put here, and that will fill the tube, and we should keep this tube within the pole pieces. So for that I have a stand here, and I have to fix it, and then I have to position it like this such that this narrow tube will remain within the pole pieces. Okay, now we are going to fill this tube with the ferrichloride solution. So this is my ferrichloride solution. I have taken 50 ml water and 10 gram ferrichloride and properly dissolved it. So the density of this solution is 0.12 gram per cc. The calculation I am going to show you at the end of this demonstration. So ferrichloride solution has been poured into the tube, Queen's tube, and I am going to introduce this Queen's tube within the pole pieces. Okay, I have now introduced the Queen's tube between the two pole pieces, and now if I increase the coil current from 0 to something like 1 ampere, 2 ampere, 3 ampere, 4 ampere, etc., then what you find is the liquid goes up within the tube. So the rise of liquid within the narrow tube occurs due to the application of the magnetic field within the pole pieces with the help of electromagnet. And to measure the rise, what is the height, so small h measurement, we have to use a vertical reading microscope or a traveling microscope. Here we are going to use a vertical reading microscope. I have installed one vertical reading microscope to measure the small h value. Here we will see the inverted image, as this is a vertical reading microscope. So if we look through the eyepiece of this vertical reading microscope, we will see instead of meniscus going up, it will go down. So with the help of crosswire, we can measure what is the h value. Now set the current for the coil to 1 ampere. Meniscus is rising. Now we can measure the small h value. Now set the current to 2 ampere. Rise is more, so the new h we can calculate. Then now set the current to 3 ampere. So it is going more up, going up more. Okay, so we can measure. Now go to 4 ampere. So we can measure once again the h value. So for different magnetic field value, we can calculate the small h value, and we can go for magnetic field current maximum 5 ampere or so for this setup. How much is the shift with the help of this vertical reading microscope? So that way we can have a data in a table, small h value, the rise of the liquid, and the magnetic field value capital H. And then we can plot the graph. Along x-axis we have to take capital H square, and along y-axis we have to take small h, and then we will have a straight line graph passing through the origin. And finding the slope of this graph, we can calculate the susceptibility of the ferric chloride sample. So let's go back to the board once again. Now I am going to show you how to calculate the density of the solution. So we have taken ferric chloride. So the molecular weight of ferric chloride is 162.5 gram, and when it is dissolved into water, so the hydrous salt has the molecular weight 270.5 gram, and we are doing the experiment at room temperature, that is 28 degrees Celsius, and the ferric chloride I have taken 10 gram, and the volume of water is 50 cc. Therefore, the mass of hydrated salt per cc is 0.2 gram per cc, and the density rho is equal to 162.5 into 0.2 divided by 270.5 is equal to 0.120 gram per cc. And with this rho, I have calculated the susceptibility. This is called the volume susceptibility, and this volume susceptibility from this relation and the graph, this graph. So the slope of this graph is 0.0139 into 10 to the minus 6 centimeter per Gauss square. Therefore, the volume susceptibility is equal to 3.057 into 10 to the minus 6, and this susceptibility is a dimensionless quantity. Therefore, there is a relation. So this calculation was in CGS. So if I want to make it for SI unit, then chi in SI unit will be 4 pi times chi in CGS. So I hope you will be able to perform the experiment in the laboratory and the students will be very happy. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day.